Now, some breaking news coming in to us. The head of the U.S. Secret Service has resigned after the assassination attempt on Donald Trump 10 days ago. It comes a day after Kimberly Cheatle told members of Congress that the attack on July the 13th was her agency's biggest operational failure in decades. She has come under growing pressure to resign after gunmen opened fire on the presidential candidate at a rally in Pennsylvania. Let's get more on this with Mike Hanna. He joins us now live from Washington, D.C. And Mike, we were taking elements of the hearing yesterday live here on Al Jazeera, and it was incredibly combative. There were calls for her to go, and the questioning from both sides was incredibly hostile. So I guess it was inevitable that she would have had to resign?
Well, it is a very rare point of concurrence among members of Congress and particularly of that House Oversight Committee. Very angry at her, it would appear. She was evasive during the questioning, continuing to insist that the investigation into the shooting could take up to 2 months and that one would have to wait for the results of that formal investigation. But yes, it was an agreement in the House. Members of the House Oversight Committee, as well as in broader Congress, including members of the Senate, have been calling for her firing. So in a way, this mounting pressure has led to this resignation. She has said throughout that she will accept full responsibility for the failures on that day that Donald Trump was shot. It was the first attempted assassination of a president since 1981 when Ronald Reagan was shot, or known assassination. And members of the House Oversight Committee pointing out as well, too, that the Secret Service had received information days before of a possible Iranian threat against the life of Donald Trump. Most of the questioning to her centered around the fact that the roof from which the gunman shot Trump was not secured by the Secret Service. It was only some 135 yards or some 150 feet away from the actual shooting. That's 135 meters, obviously. So she did come under strong attack, but she's also had a message of gratitude from President Biden. He appointed her in 2021 as leader or director of the Secret Service. She had served on his detail since he had become president, so he knew her very well. She's a veteran of nearly 30 years within the service. Now she's resigned after all this pressure from members of Congress.
And Mike, do we know what the timeline is for her replacement? This is, of course, a critical time in the run-up to the election. Whoever is in charge is playing a very crucial role.
Very much so. One would expect that the replacement would be announced very soon. In fact, President Biden has said that much. It is a critical time. The director of the Secret Service is an incredibly important function. Remembering as well that there have been various reports about the Secret Service over the past 20 years in which there has been criticism of the body for some of its mishaps. So they are looking to tighten the workings of the Secret Service. This has been something that Congress has been looking at for a long time, but it's now up to the executive or the president to appoint a new director. Obviously, a very critical appointment at a time when the country is going into a national election, at a time when there is immense political divide. So this is an appointment that is going to be closely watched and is likely to happen in the very near future.
Thank you for that. Mike Hanna there for us in Washington.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel, get the latest news from Al Jazeera.